This time we shall be looking at computation and financial mathematics, that is financial maths. But before we look at the financial math, which is our main objective, we would like to review on some of the aspects which we covered in our previous grade. This includes computation with integers, and when you're computing using integers, we understand that integers are either positive, a zero, or negative whole numbers. There are four main operations in mathematics, that is addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication. Whenever you add two positive integers, the result will always be a positive integer. If you add two negative integers, the result will be a negative integer. And if you are either adding or subtracting positive and negative integers, the results are going to depend on whether the positive integer was big or if the negative integer was big. However, I would like us to concentrate on division and multiplication of integers. Whenever you multiply a positive integer, say a, with another positive integer, say b, the result will be a positive integer, which is ab. In the case you are multiplying negative integers, say negative a multiplied by another negative integer, say b, the result is again a positive, since a negative and a negative will result to a positive. So the result will be positive AB. Then when you multiply a positive integer, say positive a, with another negative integer, say negative b, the result will be a negative AB, since when you multiply a positive and a negative, the result is negative. For division, we are going to apply the same. If you take a positive integer, you divide with another positive integer, the result will be a positive result. But if you are taking a negative integer, dividing it with another negative integer, the result will automatically be a positive integer, a number. In the case you are dividing a positive integer and a negative integer, then the result will be a negative integer. Another aspect I would like to review is on rational numbers. A rational number is a number which can be expressed in the form AB or as a fraction. It can be expressed in the form A over B, so long as B is not equal to a zero, that is as a fraction. So this one is a rational number. The opposite of these are what we call irrational numbers, and in this case we cannot be able to express them in the form A over B, where A and B are integers. A good example of an irrational number is the root of 2. We can never express root of 2 as a fraction. Another good example of an irrational number is pi, which we normally approximate it to a given or to a certain number of decimal places or significant figures. And another characteristic of these irrational numbers is that when you divide them, they can neither recur or they never terminate. Another important aspect I would like to review is on the case of rounding off numbers to a given number of decimal places or significant figures, because it will be important when you should be looking at financial mathematics. When you are given a number, say 4.3624, we can be able to round this number or this figure 4.3624 to the required number of decimal places or significant figures depending on what the equation requires us to do. For example, if we were to round off this particular number to 2 decimal places, then we look at the right of the decimal place and we count 2 decimal places. That is, we look at the first digit and the second digit. Then we look at the preceding or the third digit. If it's less than 5, then it can never affect this second digit. And the result in this particular case shall be 4.36, and this one is to 2 decimal places. If we were to write this number again into 4 significant figures, then we count irrespective of the position from the left towards the right. So to 4 significant figures, this number will be, so we count up to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, then we check on the 5th. If again it is less than 5, then it doesn't affect our value, and the answer remains as 4.362, but this one is to 4 significant figures or SF. It is important because in financial mathematics, you must always round off to 2 decimal places, and whenever you round off, you do what you call truncation or truncating. So for example, if you have gotten your answer to be US dollars 48.983, we can never take the whole of this. We must round it off to 2 decimal places. And therefore, for us to be able to write the correct answer, it will be US dollars 48.98. It must be to 2 decimal places. I would like now to dwell into my main subject of today, and that is on income. Now, people normally go into business or they are employed, and the reason why they are employed is for them to be able to gain something at the end of the day. And the jobs or the work that these people partake or do are of different forms, and they are normally paid in different forms depending on either hours they are working for, days, weeks, or even monthly. The main form of payment that people normally receive is in form of salary. Though we have got different types of incomes which we are going to cover in this topic today. Professional workers, like those ones who are in the professional bodies such as in teaching or engineering, are normally paid a fixed amount of money at the end of every 2 weeks, at the end of every month, or sometimes at the end of the year. This one is what we refer to as the salary. But for the casual workers who do small jobs around, they're normally paid in forms of wages. And these wages are normally paid on hourly basis or on daily basis. Sometimes these casual workers can be paid what is called a retainer. And retainers are normally paid at the end of every week or at the end of every 2 weeks. It should be remembered that wages and these retainers are for those people who are not in the professional body or job, and they earn what we call wages or retainers. The government, through its body of remunerating the salaries and the wages of its civil servants, has a way of ensuring that at the end of the day, they also get something. In that particular case, once an individual has received their payments or their incomes in forms of salaries, wages, and retainers, they must give part of it to the government. This one is in form of taxes. Or simply on taxation. This money can be used by the government to perform several duties or to provide essential services for the citizens, which may include construction of roads, construction of schools, provision of education for its children, and so forth. Before one chooses any type of a job, he must consider the income generation that will be coming from that particular job. So we have what we call determination of which job or which work pays better. We are going to look at two scenarios where two individuals are looking for a job and they land into this particular advert. The first advert these two people lands on is being a kitchen hand or somebody who assists in the kitchen. Then the other offer or the other job is being an office assistant. Each of these two jobs have got different rates of remuneration or income. In this particular case, or being in the kitchen hand, a person will be paid US dollars 9.48 per hour, and US dollars 14.1 on weekends. While being an office assistant will attract an income of 516 US dollars per month. So this one will receive 516 US dollars per month for 12 hours work per week. We are therefore supposed to come up with an idea of which job is better between being a kitchen hand or an office assistant, for which these two individuals are going to apply. If it were you, which job will you apply for? Being a kitchen hand or being an office assistant? We have been told that being a kitchen hand will attract an income of 9.48 US dollars per hour. But if you're working on weekends, which is an overtime, you earn 14.1 US dollars. But being an office assistant attracts an income of 516 US dollars per month when you're working 12 hours each week. So it will be important that before you apply for either of the job, you come up with a way of knowing which job pays better. And for us to be able to know which job pays better, we'll have to consider our two individuals or jobless individuals who are looking for a part-time job. Now suppose that we have Nick, and Ben, who are two individuals looking for a job. Nick chooses to work as a kitchen hand, where he will be paid $9.48 per hour and $14.1 on weekends. And that on the first week, he will work for 4 hours. On a week, he will work for 4 hours. During the week, and 8 hours on weekend. How much would Nick take home? So we are supposed to make a calculation of how much Nick will take home when you work for 4 hours a week on a weekday and 8 hours on a weekend. So we need to consider this. So for the first part, he will be earning $9.48 for 4 hours. So that will be 4 hours multiplied by 9.48 on weekday, then plus 8 hours on a weekend, and on a weekend it attracts an income of 14.1. So you multiply by US dollars 14.1. This one will give us an income that this person will take home at the end of the week. And in this particular case, if you take 4 multiplied by 9.48, you'll get 37.92 US dollars. You add to 8 multiplied by 14.1, you'll get 112.8 US dollars. When you add the two, you'll get that Nick takes home a total of 150.72 US dollars. So the essence is, before you are able to choose which kind of a job you're going to apply, you should be able to consider the income or what you're going to get out of it. Because whenever you get this particular income, you are supposed to spend it in getting the necessities, maybe food, pay for electricity, pay for water, and so much more. I like to now to look at the different types of income that different citizens normally receive or work on. Would now like to look at the different types of incomes that individuals do receive whenever they work for an institution or for a government. Number one are what we call the wages. And in the wages, we have said that this one is normally for those people who are not in the professional field or the casual laborers. They attract what we call a wage. And these wages are normally fixed and they're normally paid after 1 day, 1 week, or 2 weeks. But assuming that a worker extends and works outside normal hours, and that is maybe on weekends or on public holidays, he attracts what we call an overtime. Overtime is an income that is earned when these individuals participate or work in an extra time, and I've said especially during public holidays and during weekends. Overtime is normally calculated on 2 bases. One of the basis of calculation of overtime, so on overtime is normally calculated on 2 bases. One is called the time and half basis. With this time and half basis, the income of this individual is multiplied by 1.5, or simply 1.5. So for example, if this individual was earning US dollars 1,500 or 1,500 per week, during overtime, this person will earn 1.5 of this particular amount, which will be 1.5 multiplied by US dollars 1,500, which will give a total of 2,250. So during normal hours or a normal week, this person's earn 1,500, but during overtime, being calculated under time and a half basis, this person will earn a total of 2,250 US dollars. We have another basis, number 2 or B, which we call the double time. With the double time basis, this individual working overtime will be able to earn twice the income he was earning during the normal working hours. For example, using the same case, if this person was earning 1,500 US dollars per week, during overtime, being calculated under double time basis, this person will earn US dollars 15 or $1,500 multiplied by 2, which will give US dollars 3,000. So during normal hours, he earns 15, but during overtime, this person earns 3,000 US dollars. Now we have another type of an income called the salary. Salary is normally paid on a fixed interval, either monthly or twice in a month or simply fortnightly. In a year, there are 12 months. And if you translate this 12 months in a year, it will give us 52 weeks. So in short, a year has 12 months, and if calculated in terms of weeks, it gives us 52 weeks, which is the same as 26 fortnights. A person who earns a salary is normally entitled with what we call a leave allowance, called a leave loading. With this particular leave loading, this individual will be given, on top of his salary, he'll be given 17.5% more. So during normal working days or normal working period, this person earns 100%. But during the time when this particular individual wants to go for leave, he'll be given, on top of his normal pay, 17.5%. So assuming that this is the normal pay of this individual is US dollars 3,000. During the leave loading, or when the leave loading is applied, he'll be given 17.5% on top of the 3,000. So this person will take home 3,000 US dollars multiplied by 117.5 all over 100, which will give us a total of 3,525. That is during the normal, during the leaf loading. He'll be given 3,525. This 17.5% is normally given to take in the expenses that this person will occur while on transit or while traveling or while on leave. The third type of an income is that type of an income where people earn depending on what they have produced or the number of items they have produced during that particular period or time. That type of income is called piecemeal. Or simply piecework. So with the piecework, an individual is able to earn or to get a particular amount of money depending on whatever items they will have produced during that particular period. So for example, if you produce, let's say 12 cartons of books, and maybe on one carton you are given a piecework of US$ 10 or $10, then at the end of partaking that particular activity, you'll be able to take home 12 multiplied by $10, which will be equivalent to $120. So this is what we call piecework or piecemeal. Another fourth type of income is the commission. With this commission, it's normally earned in most cases by the salespersons or agents. And in this particular kind of income, an individual will be given a certain proportion of what they have sold as part of their income. So for instance, if you are given 2% of goods you are able to sell as a sales agent, and you sell goods worth $10,000, you'll be given 2% of whatever you'll have sold, and in that particular case your commission will be 2%, which is 2 over 100 multiplied by $10,000, which will be equivalent to $200. So that is commission. Lastly, we have what we call the gross income and net income. Gross income refers to a person's total earnings, that is, before any deduction has been made. And deductions are normally made in forms of taxes or in terms of other expenses such as paying for medication or medication bills, retirement bills, etc. We also have what we call the net income, which is a person's take-home income. That means for you to be able to get the net income, you take your gross salary or your gross income and you subtract all deductions. These deductions can be in form of taxes and other expenses, as I've said, such as medical bills and savings for retirement. As I said earlier, it is important for one to be able to compare the different types of incomes before taking or going into a particular job. We are going to consider an example. And in this example, we have a person called Ken who earns a salary of $59,735 and works 38 hours and works 38 hours a week. His wife Brooke works part-time. She works part-time in a retail. And earns $21.6 per hour. The question is, calculate how much Ken earns per week. Calculate how much Ken earns per week. So we've been told that Ken earns an annual salary of $59,735 in 1 year, and that this particular individual works for 38 hours in every week. So for us to be able to calculate how much we'll be able to earn at the end of 1 week, we need to get the number of weeks in a year, and we have been told that a year has got 12 months, which translates to 52 weeks. So in 1 week, Ken will be able to earn $59,735 divided by the number of weeks in a year, which is 52. This will translate to a total of $1,148.75 in a week. That is how much this particular person is able to earn in a week. That was part A. Part B of the question, determine who. Now who means among Ken and Brooke has the higher hourly rate of pay. In this particular case, we are supposed to calculate how much Ken can be able to get in 1 hour, and at the same time calculate how much Brooke can be able to get in 1 hour. Now Ken, we have been told that he will be earning $1,148.75 in 1 week. But remember that this person will be working for 38 hours in a week, and he has $1,148.75 to be spread over 38 hours in a week. Therefore, Ken will be able to get in an hour 1148.75 divided by the 38 hours this person will be working, and that will give us 30.23 per hour, $US per hour. So this is the amount of money that Ken will be taking home in 1 hour. What about Brooke? For Brooke, we were told that she works at a retail shop and is being given 21.6 per hour. So this person is taking home 21.6 $US per hour. So between Ken and Brooke, who takes home, or who has a higher hourly rate? Is it Ken with 30.23 per hour, that is $US, or Brooke with 21.6 $US per hour? Definitely it is Ken who has a higher hourly rate. The final question, question C, if Brooke works on average 18 hours per week, what is her yearly income? So we are told that we want to find how much Brooke will be able to take home after a period of 1 year and is working for 18 hours in a week. And we remember that every hour that this Brooke works, he takes home $21.6 US. So that means that if he works for 18 hours in a week, he'll be able to take home 18 multiplied by 21.6 US. But because we want to get her annual or a yearly income, then we'll have to multiply by 52 because the year has got 52 weeks. Therefore, Brooke's annual income will be given by 21.6 US per hour, multiply by 18 hours which she works in a week, then multiplied by 52 weeks which are there in a year. This will give us a total of 20,404.80 US as a take-home income for this person, Brooke. So if you are asked to calculate how much Brooke and Ken takes home, then you simply add what Brooke's got, which is 20,404 US plus the one that Ken took home annually, which was 59,735 US. Let's look at the calculation of overtime, and we look at this particular example of Georgia, who works for some weekends and late nights in addition to the normal working hours, and he has an overtime pay arrangement with her employer. We are supposed to calculate how much she'll be able to earn if she works 16 hours during the week at a normal hourly rate of $18.5 US, at $18.5 US, and 6 hours on weekend at 1 time and half basis, 2 double time basis. So for us to be able to work out using the first basis, that is time and half basis, we'll be required to know the hours that this particular person is going to work. Now we've been told that on the normal weekdays he is working for 16 hours. Therefore, we are going to have 16 hours plus on weekend, using the first basis, time and a half, he is going to work for 6 hours multiplied by 1.5, which will give us 16 hours plus 6 multiplied by 1.5 gives 9 hours. So this will be a total of 25 hours. Now we have been told that in 1 hour, this person will be paid $18.5 US. Therefore, if she works for 25 hours, Georgia will earn 25 multiplied by 18.5, which will be equivalent to 462.5 US dollars in a week. On the second basis, that is double time basis, we again need to get the number of hours that Georgia is going to work. So we will work for 16 hours normally on weekday, plus 6 hours on a weekend, which is on double time basis. So we will work for 6 multiplied by 2 hours. This will give us a total of 16, plus 6 by 2 is 12, which will give us 28 hours. So in this particular case, Georgia will take home 28 multiplied by 18.5 per hour, which will give us 518 US dollars. So discover that when this person works overtime, she is able to get some extra amount of money. And that is how overtime is calculated. And that brings us to the end of our lesson. In our next lesson, we are going to look at the pay-as-you-go tax system. Tax system, which is normally used by governments to determine the amount of taxes that are supposed to be remitted by its civil servants to the government for them to be able to carry out services and be able to deliver goods and goods to their citizens. Thank you.